Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and you know things are going to get a little bit messy when I load in the T-57 Heavy. This is the Tier 10 American auto-loading heavy tank, and it's capable of doing 1,600 damage within 6 seconds off the first shot. Sure, you got vehicles like the Kranfang. They like to sit on a ridgeline, they like to use their 12 degrees of gun depression and dump out the rounds safely while their turret is oh so strong. You got your AIM-X50Bs. They like to bomb it around the map. They like to try and wait for a tank to be isolated and to be able to go after them. And then you have your T-57 Heavy, an absolute derp of a tank. It's not the fastest, doesn't have the highest amount of gun depression, doesn't even really have, should we say, a finesse on its turret to be able to avoid the damage. But boy, when you do get this thing into close quarters combat, this is probably one of the last things that you want to have trying to take you down. So, also today's going to be a bit of a quick and dirty video because it's New Year. And a massive Happy New Year to all of you, and I'm actually away right now. I'm not in the UK, and I've managed to try and pre-upload a load of videos so you can still enjoy them while I'm away. Haven't taken like a week off where it's purely been just for me in probably about half a year, and so that's what I'm doing right now. And I wanted to just try and get you guys some extra content instead of just leave the YouTube channel barren, and so I apologize if you're not seeing the best commentary of me right now, or you're not seeing, the greatest replays of World of Tanks. So just consider all of these to be bonus videos, ladies and gents. Well, actually, I should have probably told you that before I started this, because this is kind of one of the last ones that I'm gonna release before I'm back. Anyway, I digress. Focus on the what's at hand, and that is an E100 is about to take 2 great old 120mm shells to the back of his tank. Well, I decide, actually, why would I want to shoot the E100 right now? I can shoot this T110E5 and put 2 rounds into his back. And just look how quickly this thing reloads. Look at this reticle. In the center of your screen, we're already a quarter of the way there. And that's because this thing literally has a reload time of 25 seconds. And that's before you're taking into account cruise skills. You can kind of get it down to about 20 seconds. That gives this vehicle 3,100 base DPM, one of the highest damage per minute in the game. And look at it, we're ready to go against this E100 once again. We're going to come around the corner, try and find the shot. We bounce him using our gun. He's using the mouse gun as well, which is very interesting. And I'm not instantly going to repair my gun because I don't need to fire. However, now I need to fire, so I'm going to repair my gun, put 1 into the back of the T110E5 turret and 2 into the back of the T110E5 turret. Yeah, you can see why I'm calling this video quick and dirty now, because that's really what happens when the T-57 Heavy gets you into close quarters combat. You are in a heap of trouble. And look, this TVP, I mean, that's a bursty tank. I mean, I guess you got T-57 Heavy and then you got TVP. That thing's firing every 1.5 seconds, doing 320 damage. But I've got 120mm and I'm firing 400 alpha every 2 seconds. And yeah, the TVP may be a scary vehicle, but this one's all the more so. So a bit of a bad mag there. Again, just like the Bat Chatillon, what is up with me in playing vehicles that have low amounts of magazine potential in my autoloaders, right? So we only put 2 rounds in there, and now we're down to 8 armor-piercing rounds, but it's looking like this is a balanced game, and I don't think my team are going to have to depend on me that much. All right, this FE405 is a bit nervous. He wants to come after this 121B, but doesn't want me to unload on him. This T110E4 turns his turret to the side, and that's just my opportunity. 2 in there. Will we hit the top? Oh, a bit unlucky that the shell went so high. Well, I would claim that this thing's got... Oh, my lord, I got so lucky there that the FE405 didn't shoot me in the side of the turret. But you know what? When you're putting in yourself in these aggressive situations, a bit of luck goes a long way, especially when I've been missing all of my shells. So I guess the enemy have been getting lucky, and looks like luck's in my favor now. Alright, so thank goodness that FE405 missed, so I'm going to be able to survive to hopefully be able to get the 113. Can't quite find the 113, but I can find a K91. He puts 1 into me, and I'm just thinking, like, okay, you put 1 into me, but I put 2 into you, bud. So you've done 320 to me, and I've done on average 800 to you. And I'm just going to reload casual. Although I've run out of armor-piercing rounds now, having dealt 4,700 damage in the first 4 minutes of this game with 1,700 spotting, and now I'm going to be loading heat rounds. So I ping the map, and I ask the North to push. I say in chat, push North now or lose. I mean, that's about as simple as it gets, right? And you know what? Hats off to them. They actually do it. And the reason why I said that we have to push north is because I really felt that the enemy team were going to get a pincer where they came round, killed this 113, and then got behind our heavies. And when they do that, I really don't feel that these tank destroyers that are chilling over here are going to be able to get into the action. So when my heavies have managed to get into that corner, then I know it's time for me to push. So I'm going to push forwards, and hopefully I'm going to create a crossfire with them. The K91 lights me up, and while there's an FV4005 here, you know what, let the chips fall where they may. Wow, I tell you what, the chips fall in my favor, and that's because we shut down the FV4005 with our first shell. We don't even have to fire a second into him, and that gives me more than enough ammunition to deal with the K91 on the enemy team, and then hopefully to shoot the 113 as they make their way up towards us. Alright, so this 113 has got all manner of tanks to focus on right now. He's got a 111-5A behind, he's got an IS-7 in front, but no, I want to shoot the T-57 Heavy. He's just going to keep his armor towards me, and I understand why he's doing that in retrospect, because to all intents and purposes, he might think that I have got 4 120mm shells. So I decide to give him a little bit of a ram. I raise my gun up to hopefully try and bait him a little bit. And he actually makes a pretty good play there to reverse up the slope to try and get his front towards the heavy tanks that were initially behind him. Knowing that I'm reloading, I'm no longer a threat. Looks like he was actually turning to deal the 430U. So he wasn't focusing me at all. Alright, so now we're going to be making our way back towards the mid-flank. And it looks like that northern push was very effective. We just dealt with 3 tanks for nothing. So thank goodness my team pushed and didn't just sit there and take the FE405. But it looks like I was wrong about how ineffective our tank destroyers were. It actually looks like they did a pretty good job, and they're creating a nice pincer here on the enemy team. Oh, T-57 Heavy on T-57 Heavy action, but that's a painful heat whiff up to the top there. I don't want to get in the way of this Object 430U, and I don't want to push him either, because I hate it when people do that to me, and I'd hate to do it to this guy as well. I don't really want to go in front of him, but I also still need to get some shots, so when I do go in front, he can't even see the T-57 Heavy, so I don't know why he's wasting his time around there. And right now it's just about, can we get to the T-57 Heavy in time? But, oh, it wasn't to be, and we're stuck on 6,800 damage, but 1,700 spotting in 7 minutes. That is by no means a bad result, and we didn't even really do anything for the last 2 minutes of this battle. So what do I want you to take from this video today? Well, I want you to take the fact that this thing is filthy. Why? You do not want to sit in front of this tank for very long, and if it has fired, punish it. Don't give it 20 seconds to reload. You have to go in after it. But then again, it's sometimes you can't actually make the push in those 20 seconds that it is vulnerable afterwards. Definitely try and engage the vehicle at long range. It's not the most accurate, doesn't have the best aim time, so you can probably try and take advantage of it there. But probably bum rush it. Probably try and bounce a couple of shells, then go in, hopefully with an ally to be able to shut the thing down. Because if you leave it for long, it's going to be ripping you apart. Also, I wanted to highlight just how important this location is. Sure, the AMX-50V managed to get up here, but we managed to slinky our way down the slope. You can use this to get cover from anyone up there, and once you get here, it just feels so strong. Being able to completely eliminate anyone making their way up there while still spotting anyone here for any of your tank destroyers that like to sit up there is just absolutely beautiful position. I've had so many ace tankers here. It's definitely one of the most important locations to take on the map. And the beautiful thing about it is if the enemy decides to relinquish your control over it and they decide to bum rush down, then they kind of end up in this nothing position that isn't very useful. Or alternatively, you have friends sitting around here, or alternatively as they come around the corner, or even your own artillery to give you support. And more often than not, you can manage to get through the situation. I wouldn't recommend coming here if you're a bottom-tiered medium tank and you see a top-tier platoon on the enemy team, or even some kind of top-tier autoloader that's going to snack you. You don't be that silly. But if you feel like you can risk it for the biscuit to be able to get here, it can be very worthwhile. So not a wide variety of hero medals for us here, just a high caliber for that 6,800 damage, but yeah, it was an ace tank of a 1,273 damage dealt, and while we did fire a few premium rounds, we still break even without some kind of bonus mission. With the standard account and with the premium account, it's a rather meaty profit. And so the T-57 Heavy, definitely a tank that seems to be forgotten a lot like some of the other auto-loading heavies in the game. Everybody just seems to be grinding through those Soviet heavies or those Chinese heavies right now, or even the Polish heavies towards the top tier. The people seem to have forgotten about the tanks that you truly can just not give a monkeys and go in and in some kind of berserker rage either take the enemies down with you, or at least you're going to be going back to the garage quickly and picking another tank. But to this day, the T-57 Heavy is still my highest average damage on any tier 10 heavy tank, which seems a little bit bizarre to me for such a specialist tank. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give it a thumbs up. But if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And yeah, just a massive Happy New Year to all of you. As you will have seen from my last video in the comment, 2018 was a great year for me. Not the best year for World of Tanks, but I still had an absolute kick butt time anyway, and a lot of it comes down to you, so thank you very much. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.